The first and most powerful voice you hear every morning is not someone else's, it is your own. Before the world begins to pull you in many directions, before the phone calls, the emails, the duties, there is a short moment where you are alone. That is the moment where the dialogue begins. What you say to yourself in that moment can either set you free or build a prison of fear. If you wake and speak to yourself with doubt, with judgment, or with anger, those words will echo through the rest of your day. You might not hear them consciously, but your actions will be shaped by their presence. If you instead speak with calm, with strength, and with compassion, your day will rise like the morning sun steadily and brightly. You must understand, the way you speak to yourself is the way you will allow the world to speak to you. If you tolerate harshness within, you will accept harshness without. If you build peace within, chaos outside cannot enter so easily. Your inner voice is a gatekeeper. For the next 3 days, choose it wisely. Do not underestimate the power of self-conversation. It is not a weakness to need encouragement from yourself. It is a deep strength to guide your own mind like a monk guides his breath. This is the foundation. We begin here. Each thought is a seed, and like any garden, the soil of your mind will not discriminate. It will grow whatever is planted, whether it is fear or courage, doubt or discipline. So the question is not only what are you thinking, but why are you thinking it? If for 3 days you observe your inner speech, you will notice how quickly the mind tries to return to the past or escape to the future. This is the untamed garden, overgrown with worry, regret, and desire. It is not silence that heals. It is the right inner speech that waters peace. Discipline begins when you decide not to let just anything grow in your mind. You start pulling out the weeds. When a thought says, "You are not enough," you answer with, "I am not finished yet." This is the dialogue of the conscious practitioner kind, but firm, not a slave to old programming. Just 3 days of mindful self-talk will start to clear the soil. When you replace inner judgment with guidance, shame with self-awareness, and noise with presence, you will feel it. A lightness, a clarity, a readiness to live with intention. Most people are ruled by their thoughts. A thought arises, and like a shadow, they follow it wherever it goes. But in the martial path, we do not follow the thought, we observe it. Then we decide, is this worthy of my time, my energy, my life? The inner conversation must come from your higher self. If your thoughts say, "I can't," your awareness must respond, "Who told you that?" And in that pause, in that question, power is reclaimed. Speaking to yourself with intention is not arrogance, it is mastery. Speak to yourself the way a wise master speaks to a student, not with insults, not with weakness, but with direction, discipline, and clarity. The student may stumble, but the master remains composed. You are both. Teach yourself how to rise. For 3 days, do not obey the voice of limitation. Question it, test it, guide it. Like training the body in Kung Fu, the mind must also be trained to respond with strength, not submission. You are not here to be a servant of thought. You are here to lead it. Just as the seasons shift outside, so too does the climate within. If every word you speak to yourself is cold, harsh, or anxious, do not be surprised when you feel frozen from within. And just like a cold body cannot move well, a cold mind cannot act with freedom. But with warmth, even a frozen tree begins to blossom. So speak warmth to yourself. Not false praise, but truthful encouragement. I see you trying. You've come far. You're learning. These are not just words, they are sun to your inner world. Each time you say something to yourself, ask, what am I building? What am I planting? Because those thoughts, repeated over time, become who you are. The repetition becomes rhythm. Rhythm becomes your state, and your state becomes your destiny. For the next 3 days, speak to yourself in a way that warms your spirit, not to escape reality, but to engage it with a stronger heart. Talk to yourself as if you are the one person you can always rely on, because you are. In the modern world, the mind is constantly filled with noise, expectations, comparisons, fears. But underneath all that, there is stillness, a clear voice waiting to be heard. Not the voice of panic, the voice of power. You will not hear this voice if your internal dialogue is always scattered, always reactive. It requires silence, then intention. Do not wait for peace to arrive. Speak it into existence. Tell yourself, be still, focus, act. And in time, this becomes your command center. Even in chaos, a martial artist breathes deeply, not because the world slows down, but because he does. Speaking to yourself like this is how you take back control. One breath, one word, one clear instruction at a time. 3 days of doing this, and you will hear the difference. The mind will resist at first, but if you persistive, you speak like the master to the student, you will cut through the noise. A sharp blade of clarity through a fog of confusion. The warrior does not speak in comfort. He speaks in discipline. He tells himself not what is easy, but what is necessary. For 3 days, speak to yourself with the clarity of a warrior, not to punish, but to sharpen. You will be tempted to drift, to delay, to negotiate with yourself. But in those moments say, this is my edge. This is where I grow. The more often you interrupt your own weakness with that kind of reminder, the faster you shift from passive to powerful. Words like, I can't, or later, or I don't feel like it. These are not truths. They are excuses wrapped in emotion. You must replace them with truth. I can. I choose now. This discomfort is part of the process. Speak these words, even if you don't feel them yet. Why? Because the words you speak become the actions you take. If you speak like a disciplined warrior for 3 days, your actions will follow. You will walk taller. You will breathe deeper. You will begin to trust yourself again. There is no true power in words unless they are connected to the breath. The breath centers you. The words guide you. Together, they form alignment. Most people breathe without awareness and speak without power, but you must not. Before you say anything to yourself, pause, breathe in deeply, and then speak with calm intention. This is how you break the cycle of reactive thinking. A short breath creates anxiety. A deep breath creates presence. And from presence, you can choose the right words. When you tell yourself, I am here, and you breathe deeply as you say it, the mind begins to settle. It is a command, not just a phrase. The body listens, the emotions align, the noise fades. You become the one in charge of all the stress, not the distractions. For 3 days, anchor your inner speech in the breath. Don't just say things, feel them. Let your breath carry them into the body. This is not just talk. This is inner training. This is alignment between body, mind, and speech. Every sentence you say to yourself is either a step forward or a step back. You are never standing still. The words I can't or I always fail take you away from your path. But words like one more try or I will not quit put you back in motion. Forward movement is not always fast. It can be slow, it can be quiet, but it is still progress. You don't need to shout. Just whisper to yourself with conviction, keep going. This is the quiet strength that leads to transformation. When you talk to yourself, ask, is this moving me forward? If not, stop, replace it, adjust. The mind will resist. It will complain. That's normal, but speak anyway. Repetition creates rhythm. Rhythm creates direction. Direction creates destiny. 3 days is enough to start building momentum. And once you have momentum, even small efforts start to compound. Talk to yourself like someone who is not looking back, but stepping forward with purpose. It is not enough to think something once. It must be repeated. A sword becomes sharp through constant polishing. A mind becomes focused through constant repetition. For 3 days, repeat the kind of speech that builds you, not breaks you. You might not believe every word at first. That's okay. Speak it anyway. Just like training the body, the mind does not transform through comfort. It transforms through consistent challenge and direction. Say to yourself often, I am in control. I am learning. I am capable. These are not just affirmations. They are seeds. Each time you say them, the roots grow deeper. Over time, these words become your new default state. Guard your repetition. Don't rehearse your failures in your mind. Don't relive your worst moments with your own voice. Instead, practice speaking life, strength, and peace into yourself. 3 days. Begin there. The shift will be real. Compassion is not weakness. It is the courage to support yourself without enabling excuses. When you fall short, you do not say, it's okay to stay here. You say, get up, learn, try again. That is real compassion. For 3 days, speak to yourself like a wise teacher would. Not angry, not soft, but balanced. Yes, this is hard, but you can handle it. Yes, you made a mistake, but you are not a mistake. These are powerful inner statements. They heal, they elevate. Pity says, you are broken. Compassion says, you are becoming. Pity keeps you in place. Compassion guides you forward. Choose the words that pull you forward, especially when you are tired, discouraged, or frustrated. You are not here to defeat yourself. You are here to train yourself, to refine yourself, to uplift your inner world. Speak with that energy for just 3 days. Your relationship with yourself will begin to transform.